Hey guys, it's Miss Womack here, ready to introduce you to the first in a series of instructional grammar videos. These videos support what I discuss in the classroom, but they also help students to refresh their memories when they are outside of class. We have a lot to learn, so let's get started. The first thing we will learn when studying grammar is the acrostic that I use to remember the parts of speech, Vanpapic. There are 8 parts of speech in English, and each one is represented by a different letter in the acrostic. While the acrostic is really good to help us remember the parts of speech, it's not enough to learn them. I also color code each one of them so that we can recognize each of them much more effectively as we study grammar throughout the year. The first letter in our acrostic is V, which stands for verb and is represented by the color green. There are 3 kinds of verbs in English. There are action verbs, linking verbs, and helping verbs. Each verb can be broken down into 4 principal parts. There's the present or base form. This is the one we use when looking a verb up in the dictionary. There's present participle, past, and past participle. I use this chart when discussing them in class. You can see that present and present participle are on the top of the chart, and past participle are on the bottom. Let's look at a verb as an example. Let's use skate. In its present or base form, skate is simply that, skate. However, when we move the verb over to the present participle form, we're going to change it by adding an ing to the end. In this case, we see skating. When the present participle part of a verb is being used as the main verb of the sentence, it will also be accompanied by one of 5 helping verbs. Those verbs are is, am, are, was, and were. When you have a regular verb and you move to the past form of the verb, you will simply add ed. In this case, skated. You will do the same for the past participle of a regular verb. But much like the present participle, past participle will also be accompanied by helping verbs when used as the main verb. In this case, we use has, have, and had. The first A in the acrostic stands for adverbs and is represented by the color blue. Adverbs modify verbs and other modifiers. They will always answer one of the following questions: when, where, why, how, and to what extent. N stands for noun and is represented by the color red. Nouns are words that identify a person, place, thing, or idea. They also will have one of 5 functions within a sentence. A noun will either be the subject, the direct object, the indirect object, the predicate nominative, or the object of the preposition. The first P in Vanpapic stands for pronouns, and it is represented by the color orange. Pronouns are words that replace a noun and can function the same as a noun in a sentence. In other words, anything that a noun can do, a pronoun can also do. There are 5 types of pronouns we discuss in English. There are the personal, the relative, the reflexive, the demonstrative, and the interrogative. The second A in Vanpapic stands for adjective and is represented by the color yellow. Adjectives are words that modify nouns and pronouns by answering one of the following questions: which one, what kind, how much, or how many. The second P stands for preposition, which is represented by the color purple. Prepositions are words that help to show relationships between 2 objects. Prepositions will never, ever stand alone. They will always begin a prepositional phrase. An example of a prepositional phrase might be a preposition plus a noun or a pronoun. Or you could have a preposition plus an adjective, or even 2 or 3 adjectives plus a noun. The I in Vanpapic stands for interjection. Interjections are words that show emotional response. They are usually found at the beginning of a sentence of the dialogue and will be followed by a comma. I use the color brown to indicate interjections. Some examples of interjections are yes or no, wow, oh no, ouch, hey. Last but not least, we have the C, which stands for conjunctions and is represented by the color pink. Conjunctions are words that connect words, phrases, or clauses. There are 3 types of conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions, we also call these fanboys. They are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. There's correlative conjunctions, which are conjunctions that work in pairs. There's either or, neither nor, both and, not only but also, and whether or. And there are subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions are going to begin subordinate clauses. In order to remember the subordinating conjunctions, I teach my students to remember a white bus. A can stand for the words after, although, as if. W could stand for when, where, and while. H, how. I, if. T, than. E, even so. B, because or before. U, until or unless. And S, since and so that. All of these are very commonly used subordinating conjunctions. It may be helpful to create your own chart like the one you see here as a quick reference. I teach my students to add this to a sheet, and we leave it in our grammar notebooks so that we can always refer to it very quickly and easily as we're discussing our parts of speech in class. These make up the 8 parts of speech. I will refer to these colors often as we learn more about English usage and grammar. Until next time,